If you love me, you should know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If you love me,
you should be able to read my mind.
You should read my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a huge pitfall.
All right, guys, you're looking at the thumbnail, you're looking at the title of the video. Y'all already know what time it is. It is time to get active. Guys, this is a much needed conversation that we have to go into. And really what it's about the fall of your idols from grace. And what does it mean? Okay? Because let me be frank, let me be honest. Pre-entanglement Will Smith. That's my boy. All right? I still love Will Smith. Okay? I still admire his rise, right? His poise, his grace, the things that he's been able to accomplish. I think it was like 10 #1 movies in a row when he was at his movie peak, his movie pinnacle. Triple threat in every sense, meaning of the word. Incredibly talented, incredibly gifted, but taken down by a woman. Jada, Jesus Christ. All right. I take a look at situations like this and I'm just like, oh my God, like without having content like this in the space, there'd be so many that end up in this type of situation where there is a constant reminder of the decision to have picked that one that seems to have created a reality for themselves that has nothing whatsoever to do with the blue pill reality or fantasy that was led with, specifically from Will. Because if you hear Will talk about what it is that he was getting himself into, it sounded like he was blue pill as all hell, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, rose-colored glasses, didn't understand the potential of what can happen. And Jada was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get married." But so often, so many young dudes interpret situations like that and say, "I just must convince her. I just must figure this out. I want family so bad because that's what Disney tells me that I should want. Disney tells me that I am not accomplished until I get married." And then years later, and all of this post-entanglement news comes out, and it's just like me, as someone who's just watching situations like this and trying to pick out different pieces to different situations so I can learn more, right? And put it into my toolkit to lead in my life with making better steps than I've ever made before. Looking at this like this is some straight bullshit. Anyway, Jada was recently, again, talking about her sex life with Will Smith. Now, in all honesty, so Jada had the entanglement shit and came out and started talking about the August Alsina situation, which, you know, flip that situation and have Will talk about a 17-year-old mentally depressed young lady that, you know, he ended up drilling, right? It would have been a much different story, but I digress. Let's get off of that. But Will has admitted that they had an open relationship, and Will was also doing his thug dizzle as well, irrespective. I think that as I looked at the mentions in the GQ article and I play back that whole entanglement shit, to me, it just seems like this is a situation that Will was inevitably left in. So he decided to have an open marriage. That's my interpretation. If you think of as any other interpretation, then leave it down below. Nevertheless, I'm going to play this video right here because the things that I heard in this video was just unbelievable. But let's get active. Without further ado,
Jada Pinkett Smith gets surprisingly candid again about her relationship with Will Smith, this time opening up to Gwyneth Paltrow about why it's hard to maintain a sex life with her husband. Some subjects are not safe for work, but if you're at the Red Table, nothing is off limits. And when Gwyneth stops by Red Table Talk to chat about her Netflix series Sex, Love, and Goop, she, Jada, and Gammy get really real about getting busy, especially Will's wife.
Listen to this bullshit
About navigating the communication gaps in her relationship, well, on the table.
It's hard. I know. I'm
I
sure.
mean, the thing that Will and I talk about a lot is the journey. I mean, we started in this at a very young age, 22 years old.
It's crazy.
That's why the accountability part really hit for me, because I think you expect your partner to know, especially when it comes to sex.
Right.
It's like, well, if you love me, you should know.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you love me,
You should be able to read
you
my
should
mind.
read my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I
that's
mean?
a huge pitfall.
That's a huge pitfall.
Yeah, it is.
Gwyneth
I'm so happy for the internet. Like, I'm so happy platforms like this exist. Because before, conversations like this of like, you know what I'm saying, going into the barbershop and just like we do in the barbershop, we have our conversations, you know what I'm saying? And you have the married guys, you know, and they interject and they points. And the interesting shit is that the married guys are not right, like, they're never really like, man, you need to get married. I'm sure like the hair salons on the other side, that's probably like the topic of conversation. I guess. I don't know. I've never been in one. Nevertheless, you never really hear the married guys like, man, you gotta do it. It means so much. You always have like, yo, man, how's your marriage going? That's usually what they, right? Like in a couple of years, you know what I'm saying? They talking about a divorce or what have you. But that's generally where the conversation goes. And you begin to hear these stories and you're just like, what? But then the internet came. And with the internet came public platforms where we can take what happens in a hair salon and get and be a fly on the wall and look at these echo chambers. Okay? What did she say? If you love me, you should be able to read my mind. What? What? Absurd, Jada. That's absurd. That's absurd. Now, context matters here. She was talking about sex, but what I found also so interesting is that she brought up the word accountability within that as well. And I'm just like, well, an accountable person would not expect to be in a relationship with a mind reader. And this right here is one of the largest issues that guys have is she says one thing to you, but she actually means another, okay? She withholds information, but she expects you to know what she's talking about or thinking. Like, help me out here. like, help me out here, all right? And the thing is like, there's so many dudes that look at content like this and they're like, this is what we've been telling y'all. But it's so crazy too, because when you have conversations with young ladies, like in your own relationship, right? And let's say there's not a therapist involved, right? Like, let's say you never made it there, which most of us have not, you know, from like a relationship therapy perspective. And you have these one-on-one conversations and like, right, like me and my dudes, we just like, yo, I can't be bugging. Like, I know I'm coming across this. I'm trying to be as logical and methodical as what I goddamn can. But it seems as though I'm just hit with pure and utter bullshit. Okay? Now, let me cap off the conversation and call this out as well. Okay? I think that the new wave, right? Like, so if you would have asked me, okay, what would it take, MTR? Like, what would it take for you to look at marriage a little bit differently? Here's what it is, okay? I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep it candid with you guys. I think that there has to be an incredible wave or change that we see en masse where, number one, you get into these type of conversations and you see full and utter accountability, right? You get into these conversations and if you have dialogue between men and women, there's not the disrespect hurled across the table. I think there needs to be a fundamental shift in aggregate when you're looking at these different podcasts and things like that happening, a fundamental shift of way more logic, right? I think like dudes now more than often, especially with the information that's available now, are looking at the pros and the cons of this contract, right? what it is that they're signing up for, and as well as many people that are exiting and what can happen in those situations if an exit occurs. They're also looking at things such as, sexless marriages, as well as, which this particular video talks about because she's speaking about reading mind from a sexual perspective. But when you have dudes like now today, where so many other options than marriage is available, that other dudes are like, listen, I live life like this without marriage, and this is a very happy existence. In order to shift the tide, there has to be a fundamental shift in like all of these different things that I am calling out. And I think until you can have these conversations in mass, and there's a fundamental shift in mass, like a lot more femininity content creators that are speaking about these different things and holding them accountable, just like we hold dudes accountable over here. Okay. Y'all hold them accountable over there. And then maybe one day we can all meet up and it'll be a lot better. Anyway, there's some more in this video. Let's see what else they have to say.
Gwyneth definitely understands and follows up with a very relatable take that hits
What'd you
us
say,
right
Gwyneth?
in the feels.
It's like someone doesn't read your mind and we feel crushed. Like we feel so disappointed. Why do we, where do we?
Thanks for watching E! News. Have thoughts on the story?
Okay. All right. What? I'm sorry I didn't read your mind. As a human being, we haven't reached that stage of telekinesis or whatever, or mind reading, right? Psychopathic abilities to mind meld and understand at any given moment. And I'm so sorry that you feel crushed that my human biology hasn't reached that apex of evolution. You know what I'm saying? I'm so sorry. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, guys, that's why I think I'm gonna end this video here today. I just wanted to kind of rant for a little bit, but these are the examples that we look at. We look at these examples intently. We look at these examples intently. And we're like, well, hold up, man. You saying, right? Like, you set this up, like this equation up of, okay, you go into it, rose-colored glasses, and then you leave out of it, and there was an entanglement, right? Like if I was to ask Will, right? Like if I had the opportunity to talk to Will Smith, here's what I would ask him straight up. Will, would you do it like this again? Take the kids out of it. Okay? Would you have chosen to get married that early or married at all, looking back at your life? Take the kids out of it. I just mean the situation. What would you choose? I think his answer would be riveting, to be honest with you. All right? Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Guys, you agree with me? You disagree with me? Let me know down in the comment box. I want to see a full conversation regarding this one. Last but not least, I got a Patreon where we booming up there. All right? Guys, if you're interested in being involved in my inner circle, or if you just want to support me as a content creator, you support the energy, the knowledge, the things that come out of here, click on that link down below and come and support your boy. Otherwise, I'll see you in the inner circle. Until next time, YouTube, peace.